What if I told you that just changing your haircut could take years off your appearance, without expensive treatments, without complicated routines, and without waiting months to see results? For many women, especially those of us over 55, the question lingers quietly in the back of our minds. Is there really a haircut that can make me look younger? That curiosity is what inspired me to do something bold. I dedicated 5 full days to trying 5 very different hairstyles, and I documented every step of the journey. But here's the catch. Each style carried its own promise. Some are timeless classics often recommended by stylists, while others push boundaries with a more modern, daring edge. I wanted to know, beyond the glossy magazine covers and salon talk, which one would actually transform not only how I looked, but how I felt. Because at this stage of life, confidence is just as important as appearance. And let me tell you, the difference was more dramatic than I expected. Some haircuts instantly lifted my face, made my skin glow, and even had strangers complimenting me. Others, surprisingly, added years instead of taking them away. That's when I realized the right haircut is more than a style. It's a powerful anti-aging secret, one that can completely shift the way the world sees you and the way you see yourself. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 5 days. You'll see how each haircut, whether it was a sleek bob, a soft layered look, a bold pixie, a shoulder-length lob, or a modern shag, changed my energy, my style, and yes, even my confidence. Along the way, I'll also share the little truths no stylist ever tells you. Which cuts are easy to maintain, which ones flatter mature skin and bone structure, and which ones might be best to avoid if you want that youthful, radiant effect. The best part, you don't need to be a celebrity or spend hours in the salon to see these changes. These are realistic, wearable hairstyles designed for women like us, women who want to look fresh, stylish, and vibrant without feeling like we're trying too hard. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which haircut has the power to brighten your face, soften your features, and make you feel 10 years younger the very moment you step out of the salon. And with that, let's begin our 5-day journey together, starting with the timeless cut that so many women turn to when they want elegance and simplicity, the classic bob. On the very first day of this experiment, I decided to start with one of the most trusted, time-honored hairstyles, the classic bob. For decades, it has been celebrated as a safe choice, elegant, tidy, and universally flattering. But the real question I wanted to answer was this: does a bob actually make a woman over 55 look younger, or does it sometimes do the opposite? The moment my stylist finished trimming my hair to just below the chin, I immediately noticed the sharp, clean lines. There's something undeniably sophisticated about a bob. It frames the face, draws attention to the eyes, and gives off an air of polish. The straight, even cut also meant less fuss in the mornings, which is a blessing for anyone who prefers a wash-and-go style. In terms of practicality, it scored very high. Yet as I looked closer in the mirror, I began to notice what many women over 60 have quietly confessed. The bob, while neat, can sometimes feel too structured. On my face, it added a certain seriousness that wasn't exactly aging, but it wasn't particularly refreshing either. Instead of softening fine lines, the rigid silhouette highlighted them. That's when it hit me. The bob doesn't automatically make you look younger. It depends on how it's styled and whether it suits your natural features. Still, there were definite positives. The clean cut gave me a sense of authority and grace. I felt put together in a way that reminded me of professional women who always look like they have their lives in order. For everyday wear, or for moments when I wanted to feel refined, the bob worked beautifully. But did it deliver the youthful glow I was hoping for? Not quite. This first test revealed something important. Sometimes a haircut that's considered safe won't give you that vibrant lift you're secretly craving. The bob was reliable and classic, but it didn't spark that instant wow factor. I knew I needed to push further, to step into styles that offered movement, softness, and maybe a little bit of daring. And so, as I wrapped up day one, I found myself both grateful for the elegance of the bob and eager to see what would happen if I embraced a style with more energy. That curiosity set the stage perfectly for day two, when I would trade structure for softness and see what layered hair could really do. After the sharp, structured lines of the bob, I wanted to explore something softer, something that carried more movement and perhaps more youthfulness. That's why, on day two, I turned to one of the most recommended styles for women over 55, the soft, layered cut. The moment my stylist began adding layers, I could already see the difference. Unlike the bob, which created a uniform shape, the layers brought life to my hair. They added volume at the crown, created a gentle frame around my cheeks, and gave a natural flow that felt less rigid and more playful. With every snip, I felt as if years were being lifted away, not because my wrinkles disappeared, but because the overall look drew attention away from them. What surprised me most was how flattering this style was in different settings. In natural light, the layers reflected movement and made my hair look fuller, almost like it had a subtle bounce of its own. For women who struggle with thinning hair, this cut can be a game changer. It creates the illusion of density and energy, which automatically translates into a more youthful appearance. Emotionally, I noticed a shift too. The layered cut didn't just make me look lighter, it made me feel lighter. It was as though I had traded the seriousness of the bob for a carefree spirit. I found myself smiling more, feeling more approachable, and even styling felt easier. A quick tousle with my fingers and I was ready to go. Of course, layered cuts do come with a bit of responsibility. They look best when kept trimmed regularly, and sometimes too many layers can appear messy if not styled with intention. But for me, on that day, it struck the right balance, fresh, feminine, and easy to wear without seeming like I was trying too hard. This was the first time in the experiment when I thought, yes, this could truly be my anti-aging secret. It didn't transform me into someone I'm not, but it did highlight the best version of me. Still, I couldn't stop wondering, what if I went even bolder? If layers could make me feel younger, what would happen if I tried the fearless pixie cut? And with that question lingering, I was ready to take a daring leap into day three. By day three, I was ready to shake things up. After the softness of the layered cut, I wanted to try something bold, something that has often been described as both liberating and intimidating. Enter the pixie cut. Short, sharp, and fearless, the pixie has been celebrated as a statement style for women of all ages. But the real question was, would it make me look younger or simply make me look braver? The transformation was instant. As the scissors worked their way around my head, I felt layers of hair, and perhaps layers of hesitation, fall to the floor. Suddenly, my features were fully exposed, cheekbones more defined, eyes more striking, and my neckline elongated. The pixie demanded attention, and I could tell right away that this was not a style meant for blending in. There's something incredibly youthful about short hair when it's done well. It removes heaviness, both literally and visually, and creates a fresh, modern look. On me, the pixie brought out a vibrancy I hadn't expected. My friends commented that my face looked brighter, my skin more glowing. It was as though the haircut spotlighted the parts of me that still felt playful and alive. But I won't deny that this style came with its challenges. A pixie cut leaves nothing to hide behind. For women who feel more comfortable softening their features with length, this might feel too raw. And it does require styling, products to add texture, regular trims to maintain its shape. Still, there's a power in that kind of maintenance. It's a style that says, I choose to stand out. Emotionally, I felt more daring with the pixie. It wasn't just a haircut. It was an attitude. Every time I looked in the mirror, I felt like I was reclaiming a little of that fearless energy from my younger years. At the same time, I wondered, is boldness enough? Or is there a way to strike a balance between sophistication and approachability? That thought carried me into the next day. After the statement-making pixie, I craved something versatile, still youthful but with a softer edge. And that's exactly what led me to day 4, the ever-stylish shoulder-length lob. After the fearless pixie cut, I was ready to step into something that offered a little more balance, less daring than ultra-short hair but still far from the heaviness of long locks. That's when I turned to the shoulder-length lob, a style that has quietly become one of the most loved choices for women over 50. It's chic, versatile, and often described as the best of both worlds. The moment my hair fell just at the collarbone, I felt an immediate sense of ease. Unlike the pixie, which put every feature on display, the lob provided a graceful frame around my face without weighing it down. The extra length softened my jawline and added just enough coverage to give me comfort, while still maintaining the freshness of a modern cut. It felt like stepping into elegance without giving up playfulness. What stood out most about the lob was its adaptability. With a simple blow-dry, it looked polished and sophisticated, perfect for a dinner out or a formal event. Yet with a quick curl or a tousle of texture spray, it transformed into something youthful and relaxed, ideal for casual afternoons. That flexibility gave me a sense of control, as though I could decide which version of myself I wanted to show the world each day. In terms of anti-aging effects, the lob did something subtle yet powerful. By hitting right at the shoulders, it drew the eye downward, elongating the neck and giving the illusion of a slimmer profile. It also created movement without the upkeep of longer styles, which is especially appealing for women who want a low-maintenance but flattering look. It didn't scream for attention the way the pixie did, but it whispered sophistication in a way that felt timeless. Emotionally, I found myself falling in love with the lob's balance. It felt like a haircut that respected where I am in life, graceful, confident, but still open to fun. Still, as much as I appreciated its elegance, part of me wondered what would happen if I leaned even further into texture and modern energy. That question set the stage for day 5, when I would try the most playful, movement-filled style of the entire experiment, the modern shag. By the time day 5 arrived, I was ready for something that felt bold yet carefree, an ending note that carried both energy and personality. That's when I stepped into the modern shag. Unlike the sleek lines of the bob or the balance of the lob, the shag is intentionally undone. It's layered, textured, and filled with movement, almost as if the hair is telling its own story of freedom. The moment my stylist began shaping those choppy layers, I felt a sense of fun return. The shag didn't try to hide imperfections. Instead, it celebrated them. The slightly messy texture softened my features and gave me that effortless, cool without trying look. I noticed immediately that my face looked more lifted, my eyes brighter, and there was a youthful energy in the way the strands moved with me. What makes the modern shag so unique is how adaptable it is to mature women. For those of us who may have thinner hair, the layers create volume and dimension. For those who want softness around the face, the feathered ends do the trick beautifully. It doesn't feel like you're forcing yourself into a younger look. Instead, it feels like the haircut naturally lightens you up. That quality alone makes it one of the most powerful anti-aging hairstyles I've ever tried. Styling the shag was surprisingly simple. A touch of mousse or a bit of texturizing spray, and suddenly the cut looked alive. Unlike the pixie, which needed precision, or the bob, which demanded smoothness, the shag thrived on imperfection. That sense of freedom made it not only easy to wear but also empowering. Emotionally, this haircut gave me the biggest boost of the week. I felt playful, approachable, and ready to embrace whatever the day brought. More than just a style, the shag reminded me that youthfulness isn't about erasing years. It's about carrying an energy that makes people feel drawn to you. As I wrapped up this 5-day journey, I couldn't help but reflect on how each haircut told a different story. The bob brought structure, the layers added softness, the pixie delivered boldness, the lob offered balance, and the shag unleashed spirit. But which one truly made me look younger? That's the question I'll answer in the final part of this journey, our conclusion. Looking back over these 5 days, I realized something important. A haircut isn't just about trimming away inches of hair, it's about shaping how we see ourselves and how the world sees us. Each style I tried carried its own message. The bob gave me structure and elegance, the layered cut offered softness and femininity, the pixie delivered fearless energy, the lob balanced sophistication with ease, and the shag brought playful movement. Together, they reminded me that beauty after 55 is not about chasing youth, but about choosing the version of ourselves that feels most alive. When I asked which haircut made me look younger, the answer turned out to be more layered than I expected. The pixie gave me bold confidence, but it wasn't always the most flattering for daily wear. The bob was neat and refined, yet sometimes too severe. The lob felt timeless and graceful, and the layers provided a lift that many of us long for. But it was the modern shag that surprised me most. It wasn't perfect, but it made me feel vibrant, approachable, and full of energy. That, to me, is the true definition of looking younger. The lesson here is simple. The best haircut is the one that makes you feel youthful, not just the one that follows the rules. When you walk out of the salon with a smile, with a lighter step, and with a spark in your eyes, that's when the haircut is working its magic. It doesn't erase the years, but it allows you to embrace them with grace and confidence. So if you've been wondering whether a hairstyle could really make a difference, let this be your encouragement. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try something new, even if it feels outside your comfort zone. You may just discover that the right haircut doesn't only change how you look in the mirror, it changes how you carry yourself, how others respond to you, and how much joy you feel in everyday moments. As we close this journey, I invite you to ask yourself, which of these 5 styles speaks to you the most? Is it the timeless bob, the soft layers, the daring pixie, the balanced lob, or the playful shag? Whatever your answer, remember this. Aging is not about disappearing. It's about showing up in the world with beauty, confidence, and style. And if this video inspired you, don't forget to subscribe and join me for the next one, where we'll explore the best ways to care for mature hair and keep it healthy, strong, and radiant at any age.